What's going on, fishy friends? Rich here, Rich's Fishes, and today I'm going to try to revamp another tank.
Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Alright guys, so recently I kind of revamped my 20 long over here. The lights aren't even on down in the fish room yet. What I did was I turned on my ancillary lamp over here. Let's see. I had some LEDs up there, so it's not the tank light. But anyway, I'm rambling. Today, I think I am going to start playing with the 72 bowfront. I'll flick the lights on to see what I'm doing. I'm going to move the rainbow fish out of this tank, and I think for the time being what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him and rehome him over here in the 29-gallon tank where I have these two German blue rams currently. And I'll keep that red rainbow in here with them. And then what I'll do is I will clean this tank really well. I'm not 100% sure if I want to leave the substrate in there and attempt to start planting things in here, or if I want to just do escape with driftwood and leave it as a bare bottom tank and remove the substrate that's in there. But removing that substrate is going to be a real problem. It's going to be a real pain. I'll think as I go. But for now, I got to try to clear out some of this duckweed. I got to clean these two AquaClear 110 filters really well because they're all gunked up and they're barely even flowing anymore right now. So let me get started on all that and we'll see what I can do. Alrighty, so here we are many hours later. I should have taken note of the time when I started. Many hours later, and I finally got the tank cleaned. And I'm just realizing I've been letting this poor rainbow fish hang out and just kind of sit here for a little too long. So, let's get him out of there. Let's make sure there's no duckweed on any of these nets. See, I got a big puddle on the floor. It's because when I was emptying the 72-gallon bowfront, so much crud collected in the drain that the whole wash tub overflowed. That was fun. I couldn't even grab the camera. I was so, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, confused. There you go, buddy. Alright, so this is an alright tank for him. I don't know, him and the two German blue rams and the single rainbow fish in the tank. Not a great combination of tank mates, but it's not the worst setup in the world either. They'll survive, and maintenance will be a tiny bit easier for myself, so now I can only worry about caring for 3 fish in one tank instead of 1 fish in one tank and 2 fish in another. Now, anyway, let's get back over here. What I did in the time lapse was drain everything, get rid of all that duckweed, clean everything real good, scoop out all that old nasty substrate that was a dirt substrate capped with pool filter sand and gravel. Very similar to what I had going on up here in the 20 long. Very similar to a lot of different tanks actually. That tank has the same thing but no pool filter sand if I recall. But the organics in that dirt, the nutrients and the fertilizers and everything that were so beneficial for plants, they kind of run their course and sort of run out of nutrients after a while. And since I don't necessarily plan on having this being a heavily planted tank necessarily anymore, I'm going to keep it bare bottom with just some driftwood. So let me go ahead, I'm going to finish playing with the filters. I found my little feet that I got knocked off and fell back behind this rack that were impossible to get until I pulled this whole tank out of the way by myself. But I will set up the camera, play with some driftwood, get the filter set up, and maybe I'll start moving some fish. We'll see. Alright guys, here's what I came up with so far using some of the driftwood I have sitting around in the fish room. I think I did a pretty good job of creating some depth in this tank with some branches that come out towards me, as well as some that scoop up and into the back over there. If you stand in front of it, I feel like it does a good job of sort of separating into thirds, in the left and in the center and in the right, but not necessarily dead center, not necessarily perfectly left or right. And I think I like what I did here. I might try to zip tie some of these together. Right now I've got maybe a dozen or so different pieces in here creating this. And what I did was I picked, here's some extra pieces I got sitting around. I got these tubs. I got one tub here full of driftwood, I've been picking out of here. I had been soaking a bunch over here in this 40 breeder. That is full of tannins now because I was soaking some brand new driftwood in there. Those tannins would have been beneficial to things like discus and other South American cichlids that I would be keeping in this tank, but I don't necessarily love the look of the tea-colored water. Here's another bucket of some of the extra driftwood I have. You can see how dark this water is. My hand disappears down there. But this has been soaking for, probably more than a year now. So now I'm going to start filling up the tank and zip tying some wood together. All right, guys, so let's recap. I've got my 5 largest discus. 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 5 largest discus are acclimating in their respective containers right now in the 72 bowfront that I have cleaned and scraped and eradicated almost all of the duckweed. Of course, once I filled it, there was some duckweed floating on the surface and I almost jumped off a bridge. But the tank looks pretty good. I like the scape. I took all of the sponge filters out of this tank where I had the 2 red Turks that were previously down there in that tank, along with the 1 red Rafflesia Penang Eruption Cross. So all of the sponge filters that had been in that tank are now in the back of this tank. All of the biomedia that was in the hang on back filter in that tank is now in one of these hang on back filters, along with all of the old biomedia that had been in this tank where I still had the rainbow fish prior. The rainbow fish is over here in the dark because it's now after midnight and I'm still working on this stuff. The rainbow fish is over in here with the 2 German blue rams, and that rainbow fish looks like it's doing fine. The red covers and their sponge filters have been removed from this tank and are part of the 5 I have sitting over here. And their sponge filters are back here as well. 1 sponge filter is floating. Why the hell is that? See if I can't reach back there and fix that. It shouldn't be. What did I do? Okay. Better. And the discus have been sitting for a good 25-30 minutes. So I am ready to introduce them to the tank. There's 1. Two. Oh boy, don't do that. All right. Three. Here's number 4. And number 5. All right, everybody's in. For the most part, everybody looks like they're doing okay. I took the heater control, the temperature controller that I had up here in this tank. I disinfected the temperature probe, and I used a new heater in this tank. I had this new Eheim Jaeger. This is a 200 watt to replace the 250 watt that I had back here before. I hope the 200 watts up to the task. That 250 watt is the one that failed in the old 72 bowfront, and I think was pretty much the cause of almost all my problems in that previous tank. So with the temperature controller that I'm using from the tank above, I don't have to worry about the heater failing, as that kind of does all the work and turns the heater on or off depending on the temperature of the tank. So I have the heater itself cranked way up high. It's up to 90 something degrees, and it will turn off when it reaches 29 degrees Celsius, which is 84 degrees Fahrenheit if I recall. All right, and I'm liking the way this looks so far. I've got these two lights up top. One of them is a Current USA satellite. The other one is a Phoenix Planted Plus. They're both nice lights for growing plants and all. Not exactly the best lights for displaying the colors of discus. And unfortunately, I've only got one lid left. Oh my God, there's duckweed. How the hell is that possible? I've only got one lid left because I smashed the other side on accident. Oh man. And there's not much duckweed, but there's definitely duckweed in here. And that really sucks considering how much effort I put into getting rid of that stuff. Oh well, I'm just gonna have to come use this net every time I come down here and scoop up whatever little bits I see. And hopefully I can keep it under control and prevent it from exploding the way it had done that last time. Alright, everybody looks like they're doing really well. I am pleased. Hopefully the temp holds. And hopefully all look well tomorrow. Alright guys, that's it for now. I'll catch you guys in the next video.